MCU tier list, baby! We gonna do this. Nobody in the world has done this before. I am an absolute genius for thinking of this. As you can see, I'm disorganized because I have my Star Wars shirt on and I'm reviewing Marvel films. But hey, nobody's perfect, right? Alright, let us begin, shall we? Looks like first we got Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I guess Ant-Man is there too. These both kind of fall in the same category as being good. They're good. I wouldn't necessarily say I go back to rewatch them, but I remember liking them when I first saw them. I remember Ant-Man and the Wasp being just a hair better. So I'm going to throw that bad boy in the B tier, and this bad boy can go in the C tier. Now, next we got Avengers Age of Ultron, which I actually really, really liked. I know I'm kind of in the minority here, but what makes me come back to it is, one, the action. I mean, if you come to a Marvel film expecting people to punch people and it be awesome, then this is the movie for you. And it is very, very, very quippy, mostly thanks to Joss Whedon. All the character interactions, all the banter, really, really charming in this movie. So yeah, you know what? It's my list. I'm throwing an A tier. Next we got Endgame. Only thing stopping this film from going up in S tier is the way they did my boys Hulk and Thor dirty. Not like it was done bad. It's just the execution wasn't exactly there. They kind of laid a large dookie on our favorite characters. So we're gonna go with A tier. Let's see, Black Panther. Black Panther was also good. It broke the MCU mold of having horrible villains, so that was awesome, seeing an actually good villain. In terms of the plot, it was good. It's a Marvel film. Like I've seen this before, but it was done in such a unique and original way that I'm willing to look past it and enjoy it. I think it was A tier. All right. Avengers Infinity War. First S tier. Easy. I don't even have to explain why it's so good. It juggles so many characters, gives them all the perfect amount of screen time. Josh Brolin as Thanos is just kills it. Yeah, it's as pretty close to a perfect Marvel movie as you can get. So, throwing that bad boy in S tier. Oh, Civil War. S tier. Easy S tier. Again, I feel like no explanation is needed. The fight scenes are amazing. The dialogue is amazing. just the airport scene itself and the final scene where Tony Stark and Captain America have their, like, you finally get that emotional climax that's been building ever since the first Avengers. Like, solid S tier right there. So this is this the first? Yes, this is the first Avenger. So this one also is good. Not offensive, not bad. It's just good. I don't really go back to it very often. Nothing was really done wrong in it, but nothing really popped out at me either. We're going with B tier. We're going B tier for that one. Winter Soldier. Go with S tier. Winter Soldier was very, very, very good. That's another one I just go back to all the time. Very entertaining film. Captain Marvel. E tier. That movie was such a snooze, and it's such a disappointment because I know a lot of people were so excited to finally have like a feature film starring a female, like everything was there, but the execution did not work out, and it ended up being so bland, and I'm so disappointed by that. What do we got next here? I think this is the first Doctor Strange. First Doctor Strange was very good. I very much enjoyed the first Doctor Strange. Don't go back to it very often. I mean, because you have, 29 films here? It's difficult to find ones to go back to and not have to rewatch the whole thing. But I really like that one. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. S tier. Why don't we just find the first one too? Yeah, we're just going to throw them up there too. Now, like most Marvel, like casual Marvel fans at the time, I didn't know a thing about Guardians of the Galaxy. So I didn't know what to think or expect. So I wasn't like super hype, but I saw the Marvel title on it, so I saw it. And wow, was I floored. My mind was blown. The characters are so charming, every single one of them, and their interactions, they're just great. Like, I don't think a single thing is wrong with them besides, of course, the villains. The villains were kind of cookie cutter and kind of boring, but hey, it's Marvel, right? We'll take what we can get. Next, we got Iron Man 2. I'm gonna put you in C tier. It's forgettable. And I don't know how you make anything with Tony Stark forgettable, but it was just... You've seen it. You've seen this movie before. It just wasn't done great. The villain, forgettable. Just didn't really care. Not a fan. This one, I respect Iron Man 3 more than I like it. And that's why I'm considering... I'm gonna stick it in C tier. Because at the core, most Marvel films are the same. Right? You get a superhero, you get a villain who has the same exact powers as the hero, and they have to overcome it. It's every Marvel film, right? This one kind of breaks the mold a little bit, and it goes a bit darker. Barely deals with Iron Man. It all pretty much deals with Tony Stark, just dealing with, like PTSD and anxiety, like him dealing with Tony Stark, like being broken down so he can come back up. In theory, that sounds great. Again, the execution was kind of lacking. I wish we got more, but I respect it for actually trying to be a different kind of superhero film. First Iron Man. Go with A tier. Go with A tier because, yes, it is a bit formulaic. And yes, of course, villain again. I would say the villain is bad. He's just meh. But this is the one. This one that started it all, baby. And this is the one that started Robert Downey Jr.'s comeback. This started everything. And again, this is one I go back to all the time. I've loved Iron Man since I was a kid. So seeing this on the big screen was very, very cool to me. And I just had no idea what was going to come out of this. So, go with A tier for Iron Man. Spider-Man No Way Home. I might piss people off here. B tier. There's a lot more potential for this. I ended up being kind of disappointed with it because it didn't. And same goes for, okay, here. Boink, we're going to throw that in B tier too. Because they didn't feel like Spider-Man films to me. And I can't really put my finger on it. And I think it's because when you think of Spider-Man, you think of like big shots of the city or just anywhere in particular, and just like him just doing his thing and fighting crime and swinging. And you don't really get a lot with that with these two films. I mean, sure, you get that, but they're not big. They're not big shots. I mean, you get them occasionally, but he's Peter Parker more than he is Spider-Man, and I don't know. Again, loved them when I saw him, but I felt myself wanting more when I was done with it. Now, we're going to cheat a little bit. We're going to grab the third one. S tier. This is the Spider-Man film that I've been waiting for with Tom Holland. Because all the pieces were there. I think Tom Holland is the perfect Spider-Man. Like, just perfect. Like, what I've wanted was his Spider-Man in Civil War in the films. And we didn't really get that. This is finally that Spider-Man. And just as an added bonus, I mean, you get Green Goblin, you get the other Spider-Men, which weren't even really necessary. Like, the movie was great as it was, but they just, like, made it even better. So, this was definitely a treat that nobody was expecting. First Avengers. Now, they're S tier. First Avengers was great. This is another thing that could have made or broken the entire MCU. Like, if this grouping of all the heroes did not go well, then there wouldn't be any money for any more sequels or anything. I mean, it's this is a comic book. This is a comic book brought to a screen. And I think they did it so perfectly. It's corny, it's cheesy, it knows when to take itself seriously. Characters are great. Just love this film. Incredible Hulk. I'm going to put in D. I won't say it's worse or better than people say it is. It's just about as people say it is. It's just, again, it's very bland, very formulaic, very forgettable. Again, you get a villain with the same exact powers as the hero. But I mean, hey, you get your intro into like a little bit more hints into the MCU, so at least it like doesn't leave it feeling weightless at the end of it. So that's good. Doesn't bump it up a tier, but it's still very cool. Let's see. We got Thor Ragnarok after that. I might piss people off with this one too. I'm going to throw this in the A tier. Because this film started kind of pushing the MCU in a direction that I didn't like. Don't get me wrong. I love this movie. This movie's great. But this kind of started pushing MCU more into comedy over like drama and taking itself seriously. This, for the most part, knew when to take itself seriously. And the comedy is really good, and it's really solid in this. But, I mean, without that, we wouldn't have been pushed in the direction of this, the newest Thor movie. F. F. That is our first F. It is. I don't think there's a single redeemable part of this film. Christian Bale was good as a villain every once in a while. Like, he had a few good scenes. I mean, goes without saying, Chris Hemsworth always kills it. I was hoping we'd get more Guardians of the Galaxy. It was teased that they were going to be a bigger part, but they just had a cameo. All that build up and the end of Endgame kind of ended up being for nothing. This film is just weightless. There's no weight. There's no emotional anything to this. There's no consequences. It's just, you could skip this and not miss anything. Thor hasn't learned a single thing. He's still in a midlife crisis, even though we've been through that arc before. and it's overdone and tiresome. I could go on. I hate this movie. I do not like it. Oh, good. Another awesome Thor film. Now this one is not as bad as everybody says it is. It's still pretty bad, but it's not as bad. I'm gonna throw that in the C tier. There's definite redeeming qualities about it. Still kind of bland and forgettable, and I don't even know the villain's name in this one. Like, yeah, I don't even remember. But I do remember at least enjoying like Thor and Loki's interactions and seeing that relationship kind of, seeing more development there. First Thor film. Again, I know it's another fish out of the water story. I know it's overdone to death. But again, it's done in such a unique way, in such a gorgeous way. I mean, oh my God, Asgard looks amazing. It's done so differently that I will excuse it. It's not great, but it's still a pretty solid movie with some genuinely good laughs in it. So B tier for that. Black Widow. Full disclosure. Black Widow, Eternals, only ones I haven't seen. Absolutely zero interest. I don't know. Black Widow, we've been asking for it forever. And they finally gave it to us after she dies in Endgame. Way too late. Like, we've been asking for it. Now that we got it, we didn't need it. Like, I don't care. Her arc is finished. Like, we already know everything we need to about her, and her mystery makes her an interesting character. I don't want to know more about her. So, I was happy without seeing it. Eternals, I just haven't seen it because I've heard everybody say it was horrible. So, everything else I have seen. I know I'm butchering this pronunciation. Shang-Chi. I was genuinely surprised by this. I knew nothing about it. And I was just like, okay, this looks like just another Marvel film. And it is. It has the same formula. But I don't know if it's just because I'm a huge fan of, like, martial arts films or something like that. B tier. It was good. I found myself being really charmed and actually caring about the characters, which doesn't happen super often. But I ended up really caring. The action was insane. The visuals, oh my God, this is a crazy good looking movie. And the way they fight with the rings is very, very creative. So I dug it. A tier. Yeah, we're going A tier. That was a very enjoyable film. And the last one we got, Multiverse of Madness. I still don't know how I feel about this. Because I'm a huge Sam Raimi fan. Love him. Even before Spider-Man, like Evil Dead. Love Sam Raimi. The direction he went with this really worked. And it really didn't at the same time. It was a bit of a mess. But I had a lot of fun with it at the same time. I go with B tier because even when it didn't work, it was very memorable. This is a very memorable film for me because he did not hold back with any of his ideas. He just went balls to the walls, all out. He had fun with it, and you can see that as the audience. You can definitely see that. So, B tier, fight me. It's another one of my controversial decisions. All right. Looks like we are all wrapped up with this. If you'd like to see any more tier list or any other suggestions for sweet content, you just let me know. All right. Peace out.